This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Ping.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Welcome to Life Mastery with Todd Allen, the talk radio show that dives into the science of higher consciousness. Join Todd and his guests weekly at 10 a.m. Pacific Time and learn how to live a peaceful life with intentional mastery. Enjoy a survey of inspiring topics such as abundance, intention, health, manifestation, love, and transformation. It's all right here. Leading authors, speakers, coaches, entrepreneurs with stories and messages to support your well-being, let alone your most evocative dreams.
Hey, it's another groovy day, and many of you know that's because I make it that way. And it's Life Mastery Radio Day, the talk show that brings you great thoughts and ideas for you to use on your very own life mastery journey. Got a couple of cool people hanging out with me today. One's a regular and one's a guest, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But before we do that, I like to get myself centered and situated and ready for the show, and it helps if you do the same. Then all the thoughts and ideas that we talk about go right into that brain housing group and stick, and it brings your attention up to par. Okay, enough of that. Let's take in a deep breath. And think about where you get power from. Where is it? The source? What is it that you believe in? It could be the source, God, Allah, the dude, the tree. It could be anything, but what is it that you tap into? Nature? Think about that. Anchor it. Take in a deep breath. And then let that breath out with a big ah, and just let your essence flow, those thoughts about where your power comes from, up through your heart center, throat chakra, and right out of the speaker box out into the universe. Let's do that one more time. This time, think about your dreams, visions, and goals. What is it that you want to bring into your reality? What is it that you're aspiring to be or do? Think about it, anchor it. Taking a deep breath. All the way down deep. And let it out with another big ah. And let it flow. Heart center, throat chakra, out of the speaker box, out into the universe. And for sure, here's the most important part. Allow the universe, spirit, God, the dude, Allah, the opportunity to make those dreams, visions, and goals come true for you. There we go. As always, I have my co-host with me today, the smiley, shining entrepreneur speaker coach, Jackie Bailey. Hi, Jackie. Uh-oh, you're muted.
I am mute. I was afraid that my video was going to come on too loudly, so I muted for a second and I forgot.
How are you today, my friend? It's Tuesday, my most favorite day. I get to hang out with you and some cool people, and here we are.
That's right. Here we are. It's spring. Spring is here. Spring has sprung.
And could not have come quicker.
I know. Hopefully this spring is going to be better than the last, for sure.
I can do stuff when I get home from work, and it's still light out, and yeah, it's really cool.
Yep, like it.
How are things at the speakfeedlead.org project?
Well, can I make a plea?
Yeah, please.
Let me tell you what we have been asked to do. There is an organization, another nonprofit organization in Framingham, Massachusetts. It's called Jeff's Place. And this is an organization that supports and helps families who have lost a loved one, probably someone fairly close, like a sibling or a parent. And it helps them through these 3 or 4 years after the death of a family member. And it's the whole family that's participating in this support program. And they've asked us, the Speak Feed Lead Project, as a nonprofit, to come and provide an evening of fun for these families, doing some improv and communication fun classes. And so we're going to do that. And my plea is to those of you listening, can you help to fund this program so that we can do more things like this? Because we're going to do this at no charge to them. It's nonprofit to nonprofit. And because it's such a powerful mission that they have, we want to help to empower the children and the youth and the adults involved in this. But we could use your help to ensure that we have the programs all ready to do this in the first part of May. So go to speakfeedlead.org and help us with a little bit of a donation so that we can support more families like this around the nation and around the world, actually.
Yeah, that sounds like a cool deal. So did they reach out to you or did you reach out to them?
I was connected to their executive director through another acquaintance of mine, and so it's a great fit. It's a great fit.
Wow, that's very cool. That sounds exciting. I hope I'm involved. Oh wait, I'm on the board of directors. I'm involved some way, right?
You are, absolutely, yes.
And the kids, are classes happening? Are they growing? Give us an update.
Classes are growing, and we now have our summer workshops that are out there open for enrollment. These are virtual classes. They're 3 days a week throughout the summer, and they focus on specific things like improvisation, storytelling, TEDx talks, and championship, like competition type talks. We have a debate course as well. So lots of different specific skills in communication that kids grades 4 through 8 for our summer programs will enjoy. Absolutely.
Cool. Things are rocketing. The summer's here. It's spring. That's very cool.
Oh, and here's something else that's exciting. Last August, we put on a summit.
Yeah.
We put on a 10-day summit. Todd was one of our presenters, and we now have the videos done. They're out there and you can purchase them. If you were not able to attend the summit last August, you can now purchase them in categories or in single speakers. We had there's 60 videos out there because we had 55 speakers and some of them spoke twice. And so there's lots for you to see, wonderful programs for your kids and yourself to watch together and then talk about afterwards. That would be amazing.
Those were fairly short, weren't they? Like 20 minutes?
They were about 40 minutes.
40
minutes. Yeah, 40 minutes per speaker.
Very cool. And the link and everything can be found at the speakfeedlead.org.
Everything's there. We have a store now on our webpage, and you go to our store, and it features Todd's book, and it features my book, and it features some books of some other supporters who have helped us with the summit and other things. So go to speakfeedlead.org and check out our new store and see what we've got there to support your families.
Very cool. Nice. Hey, you didn't get permission to use my book. No, I'm just kidding.
Do I need permission? You say it every week. Do I actually have?
Oh, I want to remind our listeners that today's show page is at www.lifemasterradio.net or .com, whichever one you prefer, and you will find all the links on today's show page that we talk about with our guest. And while you're there, you could sign up for the newsletter. Jackie sends out a newsletter once a week. It highlights who's been on the show, who's coming on the show, and her blog post about what we talked about. So it's pretty cool. It's all in one little quick short read, and if it sparks your interest, then you can follow the links and listen to the full length version. It's pretty cool. And while you're there, like Jackie said, you could check out my book. There is a link to 6 Keys to Life Mastery, and you can follow that link, purchase the book, read the book, love the book, and then let me know what you think. The link to Jackie's book is there. Where's your book, Jackie? You have a book?
I do. It's right here.
There it is.
Yay!
Self-Centered Leadership. And you can check out her book too. It's really cool. She wrote that book, and then I had to have a book. That's the way it works. Okay, are we done cleaning the house and letting everybody know about our stuff? And let's see. this is Jackie's guest. So tag, you're it, Jackie. You get the introduction.
It was delightful to meet Nathalie a couple months ago at a networking event. And so there's some questions I want to ask you first. Are you overwhelmed? Are you exhausted? Are you stuck? Are you always wanting more? Maybe like more sleep, more chocolate, those kinds of things. Do you sometimes think, God, what is wrong with me? Okay, these all describe me. Well, Nathalie says there's great news because there's nothing wrong with you. In fact, you might be a highly sensitive person. Now, Nathalie Ekobo is known as the psychic with an MBA, and she has this driving passion to help you be more aligned with your expanded self. We're going to find out what that means, but I think it's like the version of who you already are that maybe you don't recognize or something like that. So she's going to tell us a little bit about that. And so she wants you to be more visible in all that you're doing and to tame that highly sensitive person inside of you to be more productive and to have a happier, more sustained, lovely life. So that is our guest today, Nathalie Ekobo. Please welcome Nathalie. Woohoo!
Yay! Bonjour.
Wait a second. We forgot that she wanted to be called the groovy chick.
Oh, the groovy chick? Yes, she is a groovy chick.
Yes, that's what you called me. So I'm claiming it. I love it.
Is there a French word for groovy, Nathalie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, groovy.
Yeah, but do you say it like groove or anything like that?
Yes.
It's a universal word. It works wherever you go on the planet. See, I knew I was attached to that word for some reason.
Groovy.
Groovy. I'm sure that Pepe Le Pew said groovy a couple of times. We all know who he is, right?
Absolutely.
So, Nathalie, you have an amazing life story, and maybe you could shorten it up for us a little bit. You got an MBA, and then you thought, there's something else that I want to do. How does a person just drop everything and move on to the next? That's pretty spooky, isn't it?
It is. I spooked myself, actually. So, that's the wanting more. I had a beautiful career as an international VP of marketing and sales, in a small company and traveling throughout Europe and everything. And after 10 years of doing this, I was just like, there must be something else. I'm not feeling it. I'm not happy. There must be something else. And then out of the blue, I felt something that said, well, then just, do you remember your dream that when you were 15-year-old? And I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to create a little French cafe, French restaurant in Phoenix, Arizona, of all places. And I had been many times to Phoenix. And the first time was with my parents on a tour of national parks and everything when I was 15. And I decided, you know what? Life is too short. I have a dream. Either I make it happen or I shut up.
That's putting it plainly.
And as life has it, one day, imagine this. I was driving, coming back, because I had another business on the side in addition to my corporate job. And in my business, I was coming back from a presentation. It was really raining and it was night, and we were driving with my business partner coming back from a presentation. And I said, oh, remember when we were in Scottsdale? It was so nice and everything. And I started opening myself up. And I said, I've never said that to anybody, but I have this dream of creating this little French cafe in Scottsdale, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. And I would go back and forth from Paris to Phoenix. And he said, well, I have the same dream. I want to create a little boulangerie pâtisserie in Phoenix, Arizona. What are the odds? So I said, well, what if we just do a market research we give ourselves 1 year, We study this, we research it, and then in 1 year we decide what we're going to do. And we both fired our bosses and we went on. 2 suitcases and our dream. Boom, let's make it happen.
Wow.
That was 23 years ago.
Was it that, did you know that deeply, or did you contemplate it? I mean, you had a year, but once you came to that conclusion, was it just, we're doing it, it's done?
Oh, I think from day one, for me, it was, let's do it. No matter what we find on the market research, we're going to tweak it and refine it, and let's do it.
So did you finally put it in Scottsdale or Phoenix?
Phoenix, yeah. Well, the 2 cities are touching. So
I grew up in Mesa.
Oh,
so I'm very, very familiar with the whole area.
Yeah, so in Phoenix, we created French Ambiance 23 years ago. It was an award-winning restaurant and a catering business. So I ended up marrying the chef, by the way.
Ah, nice.
And we have a soon-to-be 16-year-old daughter. And, my husband is also a great manifester. I mean, obviously, because we co-created this together, this dream together. And on this path, he manifested working for Muhammad Ali as a chef, as a private chef. So,
wow.
So that's how we live our life. We have the dream coming up, and then we feel it, we express it, then we set the intention, and then we listen to the universe, and then we get the cues, and then that's how we're making it happen.
Have you always worked that way, or is this sort of a new epiphany for you?
Well, it came up. I think I was already intuitive, but I was suppressing it or ignoring it. And after, a life of, there must be something else. I'm frustrated. I feel that there is something else that is more flourishing for me, that would be so much more fun. That opened me up to tapping into this energy and developing intuition. And, I was already doing coaching in France before coaching, even the word life coaching or coaching existed for what we do now. But and I was already playing with energy. I was, doing shiatsu and meditating and stuff, but listening to my intuition and getting this connection and this conversation, this constant conversation that I have now with my source and my client source, which I believe is quite the same. It's phenomenal, and I developed it. And I always say, intuition is just a muscle. You just have to train it. Anybody could do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
With a little practice.
So you created this fabulous restaurant, or however you described it.
Mm-hmm.
But then that wasn't enough. Is that the way that goes?
Yeah. Why would it be, right? Well, isn't it true that when we accomplish something, then suddenly another dream is happening and then we have to fulfill it? I mean, to me, it's called evolution, right? So welcome to the club. Right. So once we've done that, we transformed the restaurant into a pure catering business, because it was a little too much to be just attached to one location. And we had more fun doing it. But in the process of doing this, I was struggling, and I was starting to feel overwhelmed, and I was starting to be frustrated, with how do I attract more clients, and how am I feeling fulfilled in my service and everything. And in the process of that, a friend of mine introduced me to someone that was doing energy work, and she was removing blockages and tapping into the soul blueprint and doing stuff. And she even said, she's clearing past life. I'm like, I'm French and I've been raised Catholic. I don't even know if I have past lives. But I was open-minded and I was desperate. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go for a session or two. And before you know it, I started to feel things opening up. And I started to really feel better and better, and seeing where I wanted to go, having clarity in my vision, and things would just open up on my path. So
let's oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's too cool to pass. I want to learn how to do that. And that's how I opened up. That's how I opened up the Pandora box of tools, spiritual tools and fun there and connection.
Well, let's drill down into that a little bit, because your description of evolution, of your evolution, is very profound. And I think that this happens to a lot of people. And maybe describe for us, Nathalie, what it was that moved you so, because this happens to a lot of people, but they don't take action. And then they find themselves kind of miserable. Is that's the way it works? I'm sure you.
Yes. Yeah. You know what? When I come back to France, and nowadays I don't go that often. Well, especially right now, right? Because we cannot travel.
Kind of curb.
But at the beginning, like 20 years ago, we used to go back on a regular basis every year, every other year back to France. And here I was talking with my friends in their living room, and they would share their dreams, and they would not do anything about it. They would stay in their day-to-day, the routine, their work, the comfort. And then I would visit them 5 years later, and they still tell me about their dreams. And then 10 years later, they still have the same dream. And I'm thinking, just shut up. Just don't share it anymore. I mean, if either take action, do something. I'm not saying to just jump off the cliff, right, and not prepare yourself. I'm just saying, well, what is the next action that you could take? The small step that would lead you into achieving your dream. For me, inside me, the feeling of I want to do it, I need to do it, was so strong that I had to do it. And then I think that what's helping people to take action is if they could connect. So if you're listening and you have a dream, if you can connect with the knowingness that you can make it happen. Because the truth is, we can make it happen. We can partner up with the universe, with God's spirit universe, or the dude, like you say, and we can go and step into this. I'm going to take a leap of faith. I'm going to trust that with partnership of the universe, I can make this happen. And it may not exactly look like what I envision, but what if it's even better? Because I cannot see what I cannot see, and I don't know what I don't know.
Or something better.
What if it's even better?
I don't want to step. I know Jackie's got some questions, but I just wanted to make a comment that, I was taught a couple of things when that occurs, and to ask yourself these questions, am I going to need help? Right? Am I going to need help from a source, the dude, the God, Allah, whatever it is you believe in? And will it benefit other people? Mm-hmm. And if you can answer yes to those types of questions, then it's certainly something that you should explore and do. And that's helped me. And those things I was taught many, many years ago, and it was very profound.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, Jackie, go for it.
Well, I was just wondering how, because you talked about whether people are highly sensitive or super mm-hmm. sensitive, that kind of thing. What keeps these types of people from brushing off that fear of achieving that dream, or maybe failing at achieving the dream, so that they can do that? I mean, is that something normal for sensitive people to not go after their dreams because there's some fear, or are they the people that are more likely to go after their dreams and do it? So I'm trying to figure out where I fit in here, because I will tell the audience right now, Nathalie has a quiz out there that you can take. It's on her website. And actually, it would be a great time to, right now, while you're listening to the show, go take that quiz so you know where you stand on her, what do you call it, table or levels mm-hmm. of sensitivity. Yeah. So you can go to NathalieEkobo.com. You can see her name right on her video there, NathalieEkobo.com, and then take her quiz. I rated pretty high as a super sensitive person, which is very surprising to me because I've never felt like I'm much of an intuitive. But what you're saying is making sense to me, in that I have this big kind of ridiculous dream, and I can't quite seem to let myself let go of the fear of failure and just go for it. So is this normal for highly sensitive people, or am I the abnormal one? I guess
You're
that's
not
my
broken.
final
Yeah,
question.
you're the abnormal one. No, I'm kidding. So first, yes. So you can go to my site and take it. Now, when you are highly sensitive, you don't necessarily define yourself as an intuitive person, but you are sensitive to your environment. So maybe bright light or loud noise or rough fabric, all the sensory is a little more intense for you. You are also a deep thinker. Very often, highly sensitive people are really thinking a lot, and they have a big inner talk. And that's and they are deep listeners too, by the way. But so
Say
here
that
you
again.
are.
Say
They
that
are
again.
deep listeners. They listen very well.
Oh, listeners. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
listeners. So so when you think deeply or intensely, when your nervous system, because the nervous system is wired slightly differently, and by the way, we're 20% of the population, so there are a lot of people out there. When you think a little too much, you have those thoughts in your head that are processing. You have that inner conversation, inner talk. So what are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself, yes, I have a dream, I can do it, it's going to be fabulous? Or are you telling yourself, who am I to do this? And this is way too big, and maybe I cannot do it, and this is too much for me. And very often, if you are an highly sensitive person, you tend to be overwhelmed because your nervous system is bombarded and you need to recharge on your own a lot. Even if you are an extrovert, because 30% of highly sensitive people are extrovert and 70% are introvert. And some are just a little bit of a mix. Like, I'm a big introvert, but you put me on a stage and suddenly you cannot shut me up,
Yeah.
I'm very extrovert.
You and I, girl.
Yeah. So here you are, you have your dream, and then you have this inner talk. And that's, I always say, if you make up a story, you might as well make it up good instead of making up bad and telling yourself why you shouldn't do it or why you couldn't do it.
Right.
Nathalie, that's fascinating because I've experienced that. And so I have to be really careful of what I think about and what I take action with, because it will happen, right? But that's even more scarier is, do I want to do this? And oh my gosh, Todd, that's just totally life-changing.
Yeah, absolutely. And also when you start feeling things or telling yourself, so thoughts produce feelings, right? Because if you think that you're not capable of doing it for some reason, then suddenly you feel very frustrated. Well, that's that disconnection with your inner self or with your expanded self, with the best version of you. And when you are disconnected, how can you make it happen? So now you're vibrating, you're broadcasting to the world, I'm a failure, I'm a loser, who am I to do that? I don't deserve, and everything. And you're broadcasting energetically to other people. And even people that don't think they can perceive energy, they do perceive energy. Because we have all entered one day in a room where two people just were arguing terribly, and then they shut up, and we enter the room, and then we can feel the tension, even if they're not talking anymore.
Yeah.
So don't tell me you cannot feel energy. Everybody can feel energy. And here you are, you're frustrated about something, and you're broadcasting this frustrating energy. how can the universe respond in a different way than giving you more of reasons to be frustrated? It's not possible.
Wow.
Fascinating.
So this is what you teach your clients who are individuals, but you also work with like business owners and businesses, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Most of my clients are entrepreneurs, and most of my clients are women entrepreneurs and highly sensitive women entrepreneurs, women that are high achievers. And they've had a lot of successes already, and yet they still have in the back of their mind, the imposter syndrome, or who am I to go to the next step, or I'm it's not enough, or I want more. They have this not enough conversation.
I want to just take a minute and do a little station identification. Boy, there's a term that hasn't been around in a while. You are listening to Life Mastery Radio with Todd and Jackie. That's Jackie over there. And our guest today is Nathalie Ekobo. Did I say that right, Nathalie Ekobo?
Yes, Nathalie Ekobo.
And you can go to today's show page at www.lifemasteryradio.net. And the link to take that quiz that we just talked about will be right there. We'll make sure we get that up there right after the show. You know, I was surfing around today, and Nathalie has a wonderful website. That is NathalieEkobo.com. Just like the name is spelled on the screen, there are many testimonials and links to her content. And here's an interesting comment that I found. Nathalie's remarkable intuitive coaching and clearing gifts will guide you to clarity, inspired business strategy, and ultimately expansion of consciousness and freedom. So Nathalie, we talked about your story. We talked about what does it look like to get clear?
Oh, that's a good question. So, well, first, how does it feel to feel cluttered?
Or that's what I was going to ask you, is give us the feelings that we often have.
Overwhelmed? Or how does it feel to grow your business and you're doing everything you're doing everything that all the business coaches are telling you to do out there, and yet it's not as fluid and flowing and easy as you would want it to be?
Oh, stop.
Well, in that case, you don't need one more marketing strategy. You don't need one more social media tip. You don't need one more action, like business action. What's blocking you is energetically something is happening at some level in you, subconsciously or on the soul blueprint, with some decisions that you've made before you incarnated, and that's blocking you. And it's fine with this. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just an experience. But do you want to stay in it or not? So if you don't want to stay in it, you manifest someone like me, and then my superpower, because I believe highly sensitive people have superpowers. So my superpower is to go and tap into your energy, into the vibration even of your business. And I can tell you what's holding you back. I can tell you what soul programs you have, or what decisions you made, or what kind of energy is discordant. And not only I can tell you that, but we can co-partner together and clear it, remove the block. Imagine you're walking on a path and you're going to a destination and you have big boulders. Well, I'm removing the boulders.
Wow.
Making it easy for you.
That's a great way to explain it. So you talked about a soul contract. What is that?
So I do believe that at some point we were sitting on a little cloud and walking and looking down and saying, oh, I'm going to incarnate on this planet Earth, and I want to be Todd, and I'm going to create Life Mastery. I'm going to do a book, and I'm going to meet Jackie, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I want to experience guilt a little bit because I want to overcome it. And in overcoming it, I'm going to expand. I'm going to get rid of self-punishment and self-limitation. I'm going to shine more. I'm going to be a model for other people. They're going to resonate with this. And I'm going to be on my path and showing them what I've discovered. And in that process, I'm going to inspire them and this and the other. So you, as a soul, you decide what kind of evolution you want to have, what kind of experiences you want to have. Then you make contracts and soul agreements with Jackie, with me, with other people. And we all get to play together. And I think the whole name of the game here is through these experiences, we grow, we get knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, and we expand. And I think that if you look at it on a spiritual level, this is making Spirit, God, Universe expand and grow even more.
So let's just drill it down. I'm sorry, Jackie. I'm just fascinated with this woman. But so I'm sitting on that cloud, and I figured out this path, and I got it all happening, and I jumped down, and I'm going after it. But yet, so do I personally throw these boulders in my path, or is this part of the experience?
Yes, it's part of the experience, and I believe you. And I'm not pushing any belief on anybody, but my way of looking at it, after doing 20 years of clearing those blockages and everything, and activating more positive energy for people, my understanding is that we choose some experiences, and there is nothing wrong with choosing to experiment self-punishment and guilt and shame and overwhelm. But when you incarnate and you are building your business and you're like, this is way too difficult, then you can change your mind. That's the beauty of it. You can say, I want to be done with this. I want to have a flow of clients coming to me with ease. I want to grow my business and show up in the world and make it in a way that is more aligned to me. And in the process, you gain tremendous understanding and knowledge.
Seems too good to be true, actually.
Yeah, that's what my clients say. That's what my clients say.
Yeah. So now you've got the scale of the super highly sensitive people, highly sensitive people, and I think there's just sensitive people.
Yeah.
So now that some of our listeners may have gone in there and taken that quiz and they know where they rate, can you give an idea now of what that type of individual in each of those levels might need to do, or maybe what they describe a little bit about what they might currently be experiencing and what they can do to have better outcomes and to feel more in line with their blueprint?
Yeah. And by the way, whether you are highly sensitive or not, we all make choices and have a soul blueprint that we've decided, right? Even if you're not highly sensitive. So even if you're not highly sensitive, you can choose overwhelm, or you can choose guilt, or you can choose, you can be, the nervous system is just wired slightly differently. So for the highly sensitive people, we have chosen an additional challenge of we're feeling so much, or we're living things so intensely, a little bit more. Like if your friends are telling you you're a little intense, then most probably you're highly sensitive, right? Or maybe they don't tell you, but they're thinking it. So whether anywhere you are on the scale of sensitivity, you still make choices on the soul level, I believe, that you're going to choose some blockages just for the sake of it, for the fun of growth, for the fun of getting over it and feeling nice and feeling a path that is smoother. So yeah.
I've chosen the challenges that I face. in some regard, you're telling me that I've actually chosen these particular blockages.
I do believe
to
that.
grow and expand
Yes.
or to prove myself in some way.
Yes. And if you look at it this way, this gives you tremendous responsibility and tremendous freedom. Because now you're not a victim. Nobody chose to impose something on you. It's a co-creation.
But somehow I lost the key to get through the door to stop the blockages. I can't get rid of them now.
Yes. And well, let's go a notch deeper then. So let's say you lost the key. Let's say you've lived tremendous abuse or stuff that are really nasty in this life. And now you are engulfed into discordant energy like crazy. Like you're not feeling well. You're really highly frustrated and angry and not well. If you just take a deep breath, if you could just stop the inner thinking and the inner talk and just take a deep breath and just say, well, then, okay, I'm feeling really bad. How could I just get out of it? Just like show me my tiny little next step there. Because you cannot get from really, really bad to fabulously living bliss, right? So show me what to do. And then maybe you see some flowers around and there is a little bird that's coming. And for a minute, you're focusing on this and then you're feeling a touch better. Well, that's a sign. How about you focus a little bit more on things that please you a little bit? And that gradually you can feel better. And or you manifest someone like me and then we partner up. I go into your soul blueprint. I clear the heck out of it. I clear the blockages. And more nowadays, I also activate positive energy. So I activate more freedom. I activate more, all these great energies that you want, more joie de vivre, more exuberance, more positive thoughts, more liveliness, more success, more money, more whatever you want, right? And you manifest someone like me, and then we partner up, and then gradually you get back into feeling really good. And then the next step is, well, let's open you up to have your own conversation with your source. So you don't have to call me every five minutes and you get your own inspiration, because there is nothing better than to create your business and your life from a place of centeredness and alignment and with inspired actions, rather than trying to try everything or to listen to everybody else around.
Right.
Well, that leads me to my my thought that I'm having here, Natalie. So I scored an 11.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not super sensitive, and I'm okay with that, right? So I don't feel called to say, okay, so what can I do now to get super sensitive? I want to be super sensitive. But what I'm figuring out is I'm okay with being an 11. I'm highly sensitive. I have my ability to tune into things, and I know things, and I don't know how I know them, but I'm okay with that. But yet I was thinking, I surround myself with people that are super sensitive. So am I utilizing that soul contract with that person then to tap into their abilities? And I don't know, maybe I took that too far.
Maybe you're not. So the goal in life is not to be a super highly sensitive person.
Right.
It's just giving you a picture of where you are and how you are, right? And I would say if you're an 11, then it's fabulous, because you still have the opportunity to develop your intuition at a 200% and to be super creative. And you can be a deep listener and a deep thinker. You can have all the qualities that a highly sensitive person have. And in addition to that, you don't have to have the shadow or the difficulty of being too sensitive and having your nervous system too overloaded, right?
That's
So
exactly what came to my mind. Do I really want to be super sensitive?
no, that's not the goal. I'm not.
No, you don't want to be.
The goal in life,
Yeah.
the goal for me, the goal in life is to just open yourself up, so and do what you have to do, clear yourself and activate positive energy and get your connection to your source, so that you can go and make life happen, make business happen with ease and joy and grace, and without struggle, without overwhelm. The quiz is just there as a starting point, so that you can evaluate where you are. And I put the quiz here is why I chose to do that, because I've lived years and years without knowing that I was highly sensitive. And I would go to networking places, and then I would come home and I would be exhausted, and I needed 2 hours to recover. And then I would speak on stage. I would be fabulous on stage and everything. And then I would come home and I needed 1 day to recover. And then I was traveling, and the light was too bright, and I needed to do something about that. And the noise in the plane, I needed to have noise canceling device, etc., etc. And I thought, at some point, something's wrong with me. Something's really wrong with me. And why am I suffering to grow my business? I mean, I have a business degree. I have big experience in marketing, in sales. What's wrong with me? But the truth is, nothing wrong with me. I am just sensitive. That's all. So that's why I created this quiz, so that people could go and test themselves if they have the conversation of, I want more, I'm never happy, it's never enough, and I'm always thinking, what's wrong with me? I just created this quiz. And by the way, I created it. Someone else created a highly sensitive person quiz before me, a researcher called Elaine Aron. And, in the end of the 20th century, in the 1990s, she did a lot of research, and she's continuing this research on highly sensitive people. So she coined the terminology HSP and highly sensitive people. I mean, I'd never invented anything, but it was a freedom for me to find that nothing was wrong with me. My nervous system is just wired slightly differently, and I'm very aware of everything and the subtle details. I mean, I go in a room and I can pick up things and details that other people cannot pick up. And I thought everybody was the same, but I didn't know.
So did you have someone to guide you through the transformation then, from that feeling of overwhelm and there's something wrong with me, to the sense of, I have peace, I can make my own things happen? Did someone help you walk through that process, or is this all self-discovery?
So someone definitely helped me through that, and it's called God, Spirit, Universe. Because at that time I was already doing clearing and already tapping into the soul blueprint and activating positive energies and removing blockages and doing healing and etc. for people. And I was merging it already with business, because it's my passion. And so I asked me, well, show me more, show me what I need to understand, and show me. And actually, I have like on my screen, just things pop up sometimes. Does it happen to you guys too? It's just like, so it happened that I discovered Elaine Aron this way, like something pop up on my screen, and I was just like, oh, thank you. I'm going to look into this. And there are a few people out there, not a lot of, but there are a few business coaches or coaches that are coaching people with high sensitivity. But not a lot of people are helping really entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. And I believe that we have gifts. We have gifts to bring to the world. And if you are too overwhelmed, then you have a tendency to overprotect yourself. and then you hide or you take a long time to recover, and that could be shifted just with, and everything is energy. It could be shifted.
So it sounds like what happens then with highly sensitive people is that we have all these wonderful gifts, but
Yes.
all we can sometimes see is the challenges. We don't
Absolutely.
see the way those gifts actually benefit us. And
Yeah.
that sounds like the breakthrough that happens is when we actually have a different perspective and gain that control.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Natalie, isn't it true that, and I'm sure that's why the quiz exists, is first understanding why it is you are the way you are, and that's what the quiz kind of brings a person to realize is, hey, here's a solution, here's some answers.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Now, here is the little thing here. I also believe that we can become more sensitive.
Yeah. Oh, I totally get it.
And I do believe that it's not just, okay, some of us are born with a nervous system that is a little bit more sensitive than others. And I do believe that in this 21st century, we are also opening us up to being more sensitive and to being more in tune and to being more to listening to our source. We start to, even people that are not sensitive or highly sensitive with the terminology HSP do that. I do have clients that are not highly sensitive, and yet they open themselves to their communication with their source, and they soar, they rock. My gosh, it's amazing. Yes.
Oh my goodness, ladies, we just have about 3 minutes left. It just flew by. Natalie, did you have fun? Did you have a blast? Did I guarantee?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool. Do you have one last parting shot, short for our listeners?
Oh, let's see.
Take the quiz.
Yeah, take the quiz. That's for sure. Take the quiz. That's the first step. Well, actually, if you take the quiz, in a day or two after that, I send you a quick little gift that is a very quick meditation to bring in abundance, more abundance. You know how sometimes we are in lack, we don't feel totally good, and we're like, oh, I need this, I need it, or I need one more client, or I need to pay my bills, or whatever that is triggering us, right? Well, I have a quick meditation, like a 3-minute or 4-minute meditation where you shift from lack to abundance.
Wow.
Right
thank
there.
you so much. And thank you so much for showing up as you today. Will you come back?
Oh, I would love that.
I would love that.
I would love to do some clearing for you guys and just activate more good energy.
We didn't get to that. We're going to have Jackie. We're going to book her again.
That's definitely. Sure. Yep.
Let's do that. I'm game.
Did you have some takeaways, Jackie?
I mean,
light bulbs just going boop, boop, boop.
Yeah,
boop.
I rate it as highly sensitive. And like I said, that surprises me, but I get it now. And it's nice to know there's nothing wrong with me. It's nice to know that I'm just blocked and that I need to figure out how to take those boulders down.
Yeah, it's not a flaw. It's not a flaw.
I'm getting chicken skin just hearing you say that. That is so cool. Very cool. Well, tune in again next week for another amazing episode of Life Mastery Radio with Todd and Jackie. Go check out the newsletter. Jackie's going to write all about this show today. And it's at lifemasteryradio.net or .com. Go check it out. Sign up for the newsletter. Follow the link. Take the quiz that Natalie has ready for you. And then you too can follow the path wherever it leads you. Lastly, I just ask this. Please, please, please make it a great day, because it is all about choice. See you next week.
Thank you for tuning in to Life Mastery with Todd Allen, the talk radio show that dives into the science of higher consciousness. Join Todd and his guests weekly at 10 a.m. Pacific Time and learn how to live a peaceful life. For more information on Todd and his guests, visit his website at www.lifemasteryradio.net. That's www.lifemasteryradio.net.